So the situation is precarious, and Nepal army, all the leaders and the all the senior leaders and the cabinet ministers are under the custody of the Nepal army. So they are either they are not given any right to speak or they are not spoken. This is mysterious. We want our constitution alive, and Nepal army should bring back the president to the public life. Nepal army has never breached publicly the lines of the constitution, but this time it seems that they have already crossed the red line. The incident of Bangladesh happened. Nepal's some intelligentsia wanted to make Nepal turn into Bangladesh and confiscate power. AP Oli is a leader with completely hubris syndrome, not listening to any other people. When King Birendra was murdered, he was back from China on that week attending some meeting like Shanghai Cooperation Organization. And this time also, when Oli came back from China uh, attending the 80th Victory Day parade, after attending the sideline meetings of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, Nepal system has collapsed. It could not be a mere coincidence. So now these two people, Kalyan Shrestha and Sushila Kaki, are the darling of the Nepal army reportedly. So that contravenes with their precedents or verdict which they had given 13 14 years back when the first CA was dissolved in 2011.
Hi, welcome to Podcast with Pratim. I have with me Mr. Shankar
Namaste,
Tiwari.
Pratimji.
Mr. Tiwari is an author, he is a columnist, and is associated with Nepali Congress. So obviously, we will talk about Nepal. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you,
Mr.
Pratimji.
Mr. Tiwari, if I understand correctly, you are in an unprecedented situation. Turmoil is not new to Nepal, but those were political struggles, and there was a civil war, so it was always politics driven. For the first time, many are saying that for the first time you have seen an army coup, a very silent army coup. Do you agree to that?
Yes, we have many reasons to agree to that point. So during Nepal saw many major revolutions, political changes since 1950 or 1980 or 1990 or in 2006 or the recent one. So the from 3 days is the Nepal's prime minister resigned on Tuesday, 9th September. So the situation is precarious, and Nepal army, all the leaders and the all the senior leaders and the cabinet ministers are under the custody of the Nepal army. So they are either they are not given any right to speak or they are not spoken. This is mysterious. So now army is trying to call the so-called representative of Gen Z people and very disputed in the premise in the presence of very disputed leaders like Durga Pasai, which
Okay.
is uh, who- which is quite shameful for the Gen Z protesters and nation alike.
Okay. Why are you
So,
singling out
so,
Mr. Parsai? There
so
was Mr. Balen, there was this Hami
yeah,
Nepal person.
Ami Nepal, and so first let me make it more clear why the Nepal army boss Ashok Sigdel ji gave a nationwide speech when he gave a speech, it is the norm of the Nepal army, if it is working under the constitution, he would have kept the picture of the Nepal's president. At the background picture, there was only national flag and the portrait of the Nepal's founder, King Prithviraj Shah. He had that shows that the army has no respect for the president. And the president hasn't resigned, and the reports have come like that Nepal army chief had requested Nepal's president Ramchandra Paudel, who is a very senior politician and who fought almost 6 decades of his life for the cause of democracy since late 1950s. So he he denied that you can kill me, you can shoot me, and blame the Gen Z people or anybody or mob, but I will not sign from here on your paper, on which I cannot agree. So that was the president's reply. Things have come like that, and when we are recording this in the um, Thursday afternoon, so in various parts of Nepal, young students belonging to the Congress or CPNUML or Maoist have started gathering in the main chokes of the city, main street of the city, carrying the book of the constitution. We want our constitution alive, and Nepal army should bring back the president to the public life.
Okay.
Never
So,
before this had happened. Earlier, when in 2006, when King Gyanendra had taken over, leaders were kept under house arrest in their respective houses, not under the army custody. But now all the cabinet ministers and senior leaders are under the army custody. So it's a army coup
okay. Now,
de facto,
that's
by de facto.
if that is correct, then a very sad incident actually, because in this whole subcontinent, Nepalese army has never shown its aspiration for power. Does that mean a very tectonic shift, which means a very, you had a lot of trust on your army. It's very highly respected in Nepal.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so breaching of that trust, how would it go with the country? Don't you think that it's a serious problem?
In Nepal's major power transfer since 1950, Nepal army has used to stay in favor of the king till 1990, or Nepal army always tried to function according to the constitution of that day. So
Right.
this time, Nepal army is not functioning as per the constitution of day. And Nepal armies, so when we talk uh, theoretically as in political science textbooks, civil military relations, Nepal army has never breached publicly the lines of the constitution, but this time it seems that they have already crossed the red line.
That's a very serious issue because Nepal was already very unstable, politically unstable. On top of that, if the civil army relationship goes wrong, then you are in more trouble in the future. I think so. Now, sir, before we get into the political reconstruction part, uh, your democracy is right now is in jeopardy. But more important than
Yeah.
that, you have a created serious security issue. There were loads people were roaming around the street with guns, and uh, and 7,000 prisoners have fled. We know. So, have you ever seen such situation where from all these sophisticated guns came?
So when 13 months back the incident of Bangladesh happened, Nepal's some intelligentsia wanted to make Nepal turned into Bangladesh and confiscated power. So they tried in the guise of the pro-loyalist forces. That movement was suppressed by the government, and public did not stood in favor of that. So they were finding for a new wave, for a new pocket of people under whose disguise the such kind of undemocratic activities could be launched, and the Republican order would be dismantled, and the Republican constitution would be could be sent into coma. So they found a common place in the guise of the Gen Z, who were politically novice. They initially wanted only 500-meter protest from Maitighar to Baneshwar Chowk. As the mass started swelling from Maitighar to Baneshwar Chowk, nearby which there is the House of the Parliament. So the 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 infiltrated people, basically guided by the pro royalist force and the extreme rightist forces, they had infiltrated the movement, and they started destroying public property. Government started shooting shooting rampantly, and the situation spiraled out of control. So the in Nepal's context, when Nepal entered into the Republican era, when the people of Madhes got rights, when king was ousted, when the federalism was in practice, many people, especially the old royalist forces, didn't like this. They wanted to take revenge with the Republican forces. So the houses of the, especially of the Nepali Congress party, the BP Koirala Nepali Congress Party's headquarters was destroyed on the 112th birthday of BP Koirala. BP Koirala is the proponent of democracy in Nepal. He so he is considered as a father figure in the context of Nepal's democracy, like Gandhi or Nehru or Lincoln or Churchill or Charles de Gaulle in their respective countries. So the house of Ganeshman Singh has been burnt. The house of popular leader Gagan Thapai has been burnt. So all the, and more than that, the, the three executive organs of the government, the Supreme Court was burnt, the parliament building was burnt, and the prime minister's office was burnt. So country was let loose into the chaos, and Nepal army could not intervene in time. They intervened when time had gone, and i I want to thank them for restoring the peace which they are trying to do for last 36 hours, but that doesn't mean that they can take power in hand. And it was quite shameful to see Nepali army authority yesterday evening in the army headquarters miking that you sent your every 10 people can send their one representative inside the army headquarters for talk. So that was like something a parody or watching a comedy.
I agree. Mr. KP Oli blamed India for regime change. Now, it is not quite thinkable that the India will create a security problem at this juncture in Nepal, because it's a serious security hazard. Similarly, they burnt down the very parliament building that was built by China, right? So, how do you respond to Mr. KP Oli's suggestion, and whether you blame any regime change operation by any party?
AP Oli is a leader with completely hubris syndrome, not listening to any other people. He was the man who destroyed the constitution by dismantling the House twice earlier in the first Republican Parliament, and again to elect him as Prime Minister by Nepali Congress, the man who had blood in his hands, to dismantle the constitution to make him Prime Minister, and to come and for two largest parties to come in a same stage to form the government was major disaster. We had to pay the price, and whole the Republican system, new constitution had to pay the price. And I want to bring you one more interesting thing is that Nepal is a, what you say, buffer state
Yes.
between two rival powers, India and China, or you can say Nepal is an insulator. So if India heats, Nepal doesn't heat. Nepal's temperature remains is same in its own context, or if China gets heat, Nepal doesn't get heat. So as Barry Buzan, the security expert, says, Nepal is a insulator rather than a buffer. But I want to make you one interesting historical precedents that when King Birendra was murdered, he was back from China on that week attending some meeting like Shanghai Cooperation Organization. And this time also, when Oli came back from China uh, attending the 80th Victory Day parade, after attending the sideline meetings of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, Nepal system has collapsed. It could not be a mere coincidence in the geopolitical front.
Yes, if I look at it from my perspective, it's very interesting that certain things are very interesting, or I should say very clever in the whole setting, where it could have been, one may construe that it is an attempt to also create some differences between India and China. There is one such. I mean, if I read Mr. KP Oli's statement correctly, because he has been closer to China, understandably. Sir, now that the this thing, how many arms you think are roaming around, are with the people? It's very dangerous.
So at least more than 10,000 people who were in custody, who were in jail, have been freed as per the government reports. So they might have come out with guns. So especially the gun in the early few hours were looted from the Nepal police. That is not in large number, but when the renowned gangsters, mob directors come outside the prison, then that's a precarious situation for our safety
Okay.
alongside border also.
Okay. Uh, Another question. I need just a quick introduction on this. That what has been
So
the role
yeah,
of
so all all so let me stop you for a while. Let me add one more point. All those people were inspired by the outcoming or freeing of Ravi Lamithane, the
right?
leader, the the party president of the Rashtriya Swatantra Party. He said freed himself, and because of that, all the people who were in jail across various districts in Nepal, they challenged the jail authorities and they said Ravi has gone outside and we need to go outside. Ravi is freed and we need to be freed. So Nepal army had to face same thing yesterday afternoon uh, in in the Dili Bazar goal of Kathmandu.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay. How has been this? Yes, the Rashtriya Swatantra Party's role is quite a question. You spoke about Durga Prasad Parsai, and there were the Jainji had. I mean, they projected Mr. Balan Shah as their hero. So, how do you? What about them? What about their contribution in this whole thing, Mr. Balan Shah?
You see, Durga Pasai is a bank fraud. Everybody knows it, and he was released in bail for flagrating violence in the Kathmandu few months back. And regarding Balen Saha, he is a popularly elected mayor. Though being popularly elected mayor, nobody can tell that he has attended 10 to 5 regular hours in office for a week during his 3 years tenure. I can
Okay.
I can challenge this thing. So he always gives statement late at night. He doesn't faces public. He has never attended a press conference, or he has never addressed a mass rally or public rally. So he doesn't have that nature to do to guide the nation as a leader, as a minister, or as a prime minister. His attitude is like running an underground figure. Yes, he is quite popular, but if he had been popular, if he, yes, he is popular, but if he has that aptitude to lead the country, he should have come in public when the Kathmandu was burning and appealed in public not to burn and request the Genji people, but only every day he gives his statement late at night at around 9 or 10 or 11. Nobody knows why he does like this. So he doesn't have a temperament. I don't think he has that capacity to lead the nation as a prime minister. So it will be a burden to him to bestow that position for him. And regarding the Rashtriya Swatantra Party, they they were thinking that once the CP and UML and NCP Maoists are ousted from power, their turn will come. But what happened was that public knew that they did not change the party president once he was sent to jail or he was kept in custody for his illegal doings in the Sahakari scams, in the cooperative scams of billions of millions of money in more than half dozen cooperative organizations across the country. So now he is a Harar Kaidi. He is a freed convict himself. So now, and they were saying they have resigned from the parliament, and now one of the RSP member, Shobita Gautam, who has a law background, she says she is publicly making a statement that the parliament should be reinstated, and now the RSP guys are also in the same ground as with the Congress, UML, and the Maoists, that the current parliament must function and the constitution must be upheld.
Okay.
They have realized their mistake, because the ones who burned the Supreme Court were the people who were supporters of the RSP or the royalist forces.
Okay. Sir, let's now go to the more critical part, and that's the political reconstruction. You practically need a reconstruction of your system.
Yeah,
Uh,
reconstruction of Nepali politics.
yes, in many ways than one, right? I mean, right from rebuilding your parliament or court, or to bring in a political government and stability. As you said, all leaders, the state leaders as well as political leaders, are now in cantonment. Army.
Yes.
So, and you said that the army, you have sufficient reason to assume that it has been an army coup. That said, the political leadership should therefore unite in their attempt to get things back to get restored democracy. But you have your differences between Nepali Congress, CP and UML, Maoists, etc. So what is the way forward? How do you think things are going to happen?
So once the normalcy is being restored, peace is being restored. So second rank politicians of the Nepali Congress, especially the General Secretary DO Mahamantri Gagan Thapa and Biswaprakash Sharma have come with the 9-point press release. And then the leaders from the CP and UML, Shankar Tiwari uh, and his senior colleague Ishwar Pokhrel has also spoken. Of late, Pachanda has also given his press release, and I'm not sure who released the press issue, the press release of the outgoing Prime Minister KP Oli. So, and the people are already releasing the press statement of the Rashtriya Swatantra Party President Ravi Lamsane also. So they have released their statements independently. Now it's time for them to sit in a common platform and call for the parliament session. I think they will do this within few days, because when we are talking this, uh, counting from today, in 6 days there in 6 days 11 years will be completed of the promulgation of the Republican constitution. That day thousands of people are will definitely come to save that constitution. At that time, if Nepal's army unknowingly makes any decision outside the parameters of the Republican constitution, they have to face the bad consequences, because Nepal's army has not been trained to be like Pakistani army or like the Bangladesh army to take power for interregnum and then giving back power to the civilian authorities. It's they have entered into the uncharted waters. It is completely new territory to them, and they will fall from the crevasse, and they have no way out to come back.
Okay. So how soon do you expect a statement on election? I think you have to go for a fresh election, right? So in that case, how soon do you expect a statement from the new state of aid, the former justice, on the roadmap?
So some of the it is reported that some of the Gen Z people have taken name of ex Supreme Court Chief Justice Sushila Karki, but Sushila Karki had given a logic 14 years back, when the first CA was dissolved and Nepal's the then reigning Chief Justice Khilraj Regmi was made the Prime Minister at that time. So she said this thing cannot be done. Head of the the head of the judiciary cannot lead the executive for the good precedence, for the outcome of the good precedence for the constitution also. So that was her position, and the position of the other Supreme Court Chief Justice Kalyan Shrestha also. So now these two people, Kalyan Shrestha and Sushila Karki, are the darling of the Nepal army reportedly. So that contravenes with their precedents or verdict which they had given 13-14 years back, when the first CA was dissolved in 2011 or 12.
Okay.
So if they have little morality, they have to stay out of power at this time, and for the peaceful settlement of the dispute of the current political imbroglio, Nepal should take lessons from the political change of the 2006. In 2006, when the big mass revolution took place, the parliament of 2000 was reinstated after 6 years, when its term was already over. Now Nepal's parliament is in its third year. The second Republican parliament is in its almost almost in the verge of completing third years. 3 years, it is almost 12 into 3,
Yes,
36.
it's
So it's
approximately 3
only
years.
30, yeah, yeah. it's only 34 months after the election. So anything. So the leaders above 70 could be given leave like Servaj Dewa or KP Oli,
No,
and new
my
members.
question,
Yeah.
my question is therefore,
Yes.
are you suggesting that the parliament that was, well, let the government change,
Yes.
let Mr. KP Oli go,
Yes.
let the
Yes.
ministers go,
Parliament must be convened.
the
Yeah.
parliament must continue.
Parliament must. Yes. Parliament must continue. Gen Z people should be given proper representation in this interim parliament. This parliament will continue in new avatar as a interim parliament, and the constitution and the fundamentals of the constitution must be set.
Is your parliament dissolved? Your
No,
parliament is not dissolved.
till yes, till now, when we are recording this, our parliament has not been dissolved.
So do you
Because
want your parliament
parliament,
to be dissolved? Do you want your
no.
parliament to? You don't want your parliament because it is only third year. So you want the parliament, as per the constitution, the parliament should continue for another 2 years. Correct? So,
Yes, yes,
I assume that the government, the KP Oli, Mr. KP Oli and his team has to take a back seat. They cannot come because
yes,
they face the wrath.
yes, yes.
So you want the rest of it, you want to select a leader from the rest of it and continue. That is your kind of vision, right?
Yes. Earlier in 2006, CPN Maoists were given a respectable position in the interim parliament without any elections, and and that led to a peaceful settlement of that paved the way for the uh, making of the first constituent assembly elections. So as Maoists were represented in the parliament at that time, so this time also Gen Z friends, Gen Z supporters can be nominated in the parliament, and
Now,
so
who are
that
these Genji? What is the how do you select the leaders? Who
that's
are
the
their leaders?
biggest question. That's the biggest question. There are many leaders, multiple leaders. They are backed by the pro-royalist forces, pro-Maoist forces, and pro-RSP forces. Nobody is clear, and there is danger of and there is serious threat that they are being handpicked, cherry picked mm, by the choice of the Nepali armies, or whatever they like, they to be represented.
Okay. I hope, I'm sure it's too early to come up with solutions, but I'm sure you are going to take a lot of lessons from what happened in Bangladesh, in the name of the celebrating the revolt and etc. etc. Finally,
For the functioning solution, we have to take lesson from the 2006 roadmap of our country.
right. Okay. So thanks for joining all the way from Sydney, and I hope we will keep talking more in the future. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.